Hey guys, this is episode 3 of Noodle Time. Welcome. I promise this episode won't be 1 hour long like last time. There were a lot of topics to talk about on episode 2, but on episode 3, we got everything slimmed down for y'all. Here with me, like always, is Tony. Tony, say hello.
Bienvenidos a Noodle Time.
Yes, sir.
I don't know where that came from. But welcome everyone. And I'm here to say that this episode will definitely be longer than 1 hour, because I'm sure that's what all of you guys want to hear. Us just ramble about the Dynamo and the Dash.
Oh yeah, like if we can definitely talk about for like the next 2 hours about Boniek being a center back, definitely. And
Early defender of the year candidate, actually.
Yeah. Or we can talk about like the Wondolowski goal that wasn't a goal for some reason, but yeah, those could be topics for another episode.
I believe that was an IOU. Wondolowski was given the Dynamo for all those years we employed him when no one else did.
Yeah.
Respect to Wando, man.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much this episode. We're gonna talk about the Dynamo season opener against San Jose, the Dash playing at OL Reign, both on the same day, which was pretty interesting. And we're gonna go ahead and preview their upcoming games this week, and the Dash playing on next Monday. And yeah, and just before we get into that, a little bit of housekeeping. The Dynamo Subreddit Fantasy League, we closed it with about 50 people. Like, I was hoping to get more people in, but for some reason the MLS Fantasy website wasn't letting me add more people. So thank you to everyone that joined, and sorry for those that wanted to join but couldn't.
Yeah.
I tried adding more people. Like, for some reason I couldn't add more than 50. Like, I put like 69 just to be funny about it, but it didn't let me. And yeah,
that was me. I was one of those that didn't get in, so I'm mad, and you'll be hearing from my lawyer soon, because I got exactly 69 points in my first game week for MLS Fantasy. So I just want to shout out
congratulations,
Maxi Rudy there for I did one of those faith picks. I said, screw it, no one else is picking a Dynamo player, I will. And then Rudy came through with 8 points for me, so shout out, big man.
Yeah, interesting week for Rudy and obviously Memo for scoring the first goal, but we'll get into that in just a bit. And the last thing in housekeeping, I just released the 9th issue of Fox in the Box, so get onto review on your email, subscribe, like, comment, all the good stuff on review. Like, you can check it on Twitter. Check my review links so you can access it. It's free. Subscribe, like, smash the like button. Yeah.
Just give us money. I don't even care. PayPal, Venmo.
Yeah, Venmo me. Cash App, OnlyFans. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh God, no one wants that.
Yeah.
That's the next Fox in the Box venture.
For sure. Oh well. So with that said, let's get into it. We're gonna go ahead and review the Dynamo season opener against San Jose. It was a very fun game, honestly. I was expecting a lot of goals. A lot of goals did come our way for the most part. The Dynamo didn't end up winning 2-1 against a pretty energetic San Jose. I felt like I was expecting more goals than to a 2-1 scoreline, but at the same time, I did notice that there were a ton of chances created from both teams. And yeah, like, obviously one of the things that I wanted to point out was the fact that the Dynamo did something weird with the formation, like heading into the game. For some reason, the roster they posted initially was a 3-4-3, and that threw off a lot of people, since the actual lineup wasn't for a regular 4-3-3 like the Dynamo are more accustomed with. And with the only difference being that Boniek was playing center back, which was an interesting addition heading into the game. And yeah, like, I really, really, really like Boniek playing center back. I don't know what Tony thinks about Boniek. Obviously, he's a god to us, but
there's a reason I have that man's name on the back of my kit. That's all I'm gonna say. But no, honestly, props to Boniek Garcia, because honestly, he's a club servant, I'd have to say, because I mean, there was very well a big chance that he couldn't have been at the club again this year. I mean, I know Tab said he wanted him back, but sometimes the way money works, he could have probably held out and who knows, maybe gotten a bigger deal back home in Honduras or maybe some other deal around MLS. Who knows? Who knows how all that goes down? But he wants to be here. His family wants to be here, and he gets called upon when 4 center backs are injured, and he does the job. So you can't really ask much more than that from him, honestly. And I watched the press conference after the game, and he said he knew about it like 2 or 3 days before that he was going to start at center back, and he was surprised. But he said he was talking to Victor Bernardes, former Honduran national team and MLS legend for San Jose actually as well. And he was talking to Minor, and he said he was just watching film and videos of because he's a right-footed, and he had to play on the left, and so he said that threw him off the most because in preseason he was playing on the right as a right center back instead of a left center back. So when Tab asked him to play as a left center back, he said it didn't scare him, but he had to watch a video specifically on players like him or players that have gone from midfield to center back just to see how he did his homework. And honestly, I mean, I'd rather not see him there in the long term against a more lethal opponent, but at least we know he can do the job if needed. So and it's we'll get into it more later, but it's an interesting proposition because we know Fuenmayor is back healthy, but obviously he didn't play because he's not fit at all. He missed most of preseason with an injury. So does Boniek start at center back again this week, or does Fuenmayor come in? I don't think Minor, Bartlow, or Jankwa will be healthy yet. Side note: Minor did not play since he came back from international duty with Honduras, and he's listed for health reasons. We don't know if that's COVID. We don't want to speculate, but wishing the best for him if he is sick with something for the moment.
Yeah, I feel like it's really going to depend on how Figueroa does, because I feel like he would be starting over Fuenmayor right now, only based on the fact that he's seen more time in the preseason, and yeah, like obviously I'm hoping for the very best for him to either go through quarantine safely. That what I would assume this is the current situation with him, and yeah, like I see Figueroa starting over him for the time being. Though I was just fascinated with like how Boniek played center back. Really, like he was able to read the plays very well and just intercept all the balls. And obviously the goal against the Dynamo that came in was pretty much unstoppable. But other than that, he's done a very good job, like that game for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, the whole team just had. I know it's kind of cheesy because it's like, okay, we don't have these star players, we don't have these DPs, but all we've been hearing kind of in the preseason is Tab saying, I brought in my guys. I brought in guys I know will work hard compared to players from last year even. I mean, no shot at them, but that's the words that have been coming from Tab's mouth himself, that he's pretty much saying, this hard work is going to take us far. Who knows how far? And I think we kind of saw that in the first game already because these guys were pressing like maniacs,
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to get that from Rudy, from his reputation around the league, but everybody, I mean, even one player that I'm not too impressed with is Adam Lundqvist. And already, I mean, early opinions already, but first game back in the season, I liked the way he looked way more with Pasher. Sometimes Fafa was on his side, but with Pasher was coming back. I don't know if some of you guys know he's played fullback before in his career as well. And I mean, Pasher has the energy to run up and down that sideline for 75 minutes at least right now. And he was coming back on defense, and that really helps Adam out because we know he can get caught out at times, but hopefully that's a partnership that could be brewing for the future.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Pasher. Like he just kept running like all over the field constantly, and he almost, like, I remember one play specifically where he just ran out of the flank, and he almost got the ball to a point, like he was going to center the ball. Like it was almost certainly going to be a goal if he had like a good possession of it, but it ended up being a goal kick. But
yeah, I think I remember that flashes, one. He was fighting till the end.
Yeah, like those kinds of flashes, like they're pretty impressive for me, and I'm honestly looking forward to what he does for the rest of the season. And like I was very impressed with the first game here. Obviously, him, Pico, Urruti, like they've got like a ton of chances in, and obviously Urruti only got one goal in, but like I'm still fairly impressed with them. Hitting like with it based on the experience we've seen in the preseason, like very well organized attack. They just have to figure out how to put the balls in the back of the net. But aside of that, obviously Memo, our Lord and Savior, scores the first goal for the Dynamo this season and the first goal in MLS this year. So like like the goal, like the first goal was like honestly was amazing. Like Memo's awareness of space and just knowing where to be at the right place at the right time. Like those are sort of some awesome qualities he has, and like I just love Memo.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
there's been questions coming in. Honestly, we know this preseason has honestly been really under wraps. Like we, as fans, as us that are diehards fans, we barely know any information because they've kept so many things secret, kind of. Which there comes a point where they need to be hiding it from their opponents, but it's almost like, hey, we want to know what's going on too. But it seemed like Memo was kind of with this second team, quote unquote, during preseason, and not like starting with the other squads. And it's cool to hear again in the post game press conference. Tab is saying how much confidence he has in Memo, how much he's like hyping him up, and same with his teammates. Ruti and all these people, kind of giving their praise for Memo. And it's just cool to hear because they know he has the skill. And Memo himself said the same thing. He knows he has what it takes, but it's about consistency this season. So he himself said he can't be having one amazing game and then 3 games where he doesn't show up. So that's the difference this year. And, I don't know if you guys saw DeMarcus Beasley's tweet, but he said Memo, Memo is made for the national team, at least to get a shot at one point in his career. And if there's ever going to be a season, it's going to be this season where we need him to show up. And Tab said the same thing. That's where he sees Memo as a player too. So let's hope for the sake of the team and for the sake of seeing Memo. Who knows? Maybe in L3 green, or maybe in USA. I'm kidding. Probably in USA white, but still.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Memo in the U.S. men's national team for life, forever, and yeah, I just happy to see Memo to the national team. It's just that he just has to have like that breakout season, which he almost had.
Had last year.
Yeah, almost had last year, and hopefully this is his year, and he outperforms expectations like always. But obviously, over the next level, so he can get noticed by Berhalter Kuhn.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And side note, I feel like MLS has been getting a huge influx of your fellow countrymen. If you guys don't know, Andres is Venezuelan.
For sure.
We saw John Cadiz with the goal for Nashville this weekend. We saw who's Atlanta has a Hernandez guy now that they got out from Scotland.
Yeah, and Joseph came back from injury, which is awesome. Yeah, for the national team, and yeah, like a lot of Venezuelans, especially the ones playing in Venezuela right now, are looking forward to playing MLS. Obviously, with the situation in the country, like they will take all the chances they can get, and MLS is a pretty good league to grow, as proven by the younger Venezuelans like Cáceres. He's still developing with the Red Bulls, but
yeah, he might leave to Europe soon, honestly.
Yeah, and I in the past I predicted that Joseph Martinez was gonna break the league in half, and he's already the highest scoring player in the league in one season, and yeah,
when Mayor needs to take his chance because. I mean, from what I know, correct me if I'm wrong. Venezuela doesn't have the deepest center back pool, and I feel like one season of solid play in MLS could definitely get him a look on the national team.
Oh yeah, defense is the weakest aspect of the Venezuelan national team. It's pretty thin, and we still have some solid players in the back line, but if those players are gone, then we're essentially defenseless, and that's one of the things that keep us like that are essentially our kryptonite when it comes to South American competition, since it's pretty horrible in the sense that it's pretty hard. And yeah.
Yeah, this
And
is also a Vino Tinto
yeah,
podcast. If you guys didn't
Venezuela,
know,
it's el tiempo de Noodle. And
shout out
yeah,
all our listeners in Venezuela. Probably Andres' family.
absolutely.
Shout out to them.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving back to
Listen,
Dynamo
see.
coverage.
Okay, let's get back to the game. Back from Venezuela. Um, also it seemed like Dynamo dominated for almost the entire game up until I would say not dominated, but also kept possession very well. And like up until around the 75th minute when Paul Mary scored the first goal for San Jose, and that's when I essentially like felt that San Jose were gonna get the equalizer, as we're pretty much used to as Dynamo fans lately. And yeah, like Wando almost got it, but for some reason didn't score it. And it's back to the Vietnam Belgium flashbacks from the World Cup.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, also shout out to Marco Maric this game, and I know that he doesn't get a lot of love in the fan base. And, we're all on that Michael Nelson gang. Want to see him get his start in MLS, but Marco did really well this game, and let's hope he keeps building on that for this season without too many mistakes. And I mean, at the end of the day, I know a lot of people aren't Marco Maric's biggest fan. He kind of already has that chip because he's an international goalkeeper, but I'm sure everybody wants to see him succeed. I mean, for the greater good of the team, of course, we want to see him.
Oh yeah, we all want him to succeed. Obviously, like it's just that we're all Michael Nelson stands, so we sometimes hope for the best for Michael Nelson and for him to start with the Dynamo, hopefully. And yeah, like Marriage did well this game. It's just that that impossible goal to stop that from Paul Mary, and other than that, he did pretty well. So not much to complain about.
And like I was telling Andres before we started the podcast, I was so hyped for this game on Friday, and then honestly, I'm a Dynamo. What do you call it? Cynicist? I'm just cynical.
Yeah.
Of the team all the time, and that's just the defense mechanism after all the years of having Webb Tilton levels of optimism, and then getting stabbed in the heart by the team.
Yeah.
But so if you guys ever see my takes on Twitter, it's just because I'm trying to protect myself from getting hurt there. I thought we were definitely going to get 4 put against us with Boniek at center back. Maybe I was giving San Jose a little bit too much credit, but the Wando miss at the end, kind of like after the initial like adrenaline of us getting the win, I kind of was left with a sour taste in my mouth, knowing how close that could have been to just being 1 point in a 2-2 game from an otherwise super positive game. But I think the team is also aware of that, and we're going to count our blessings because that'll happen to us at some point in the season too, where we're the ones that miss an open goal like that. But hopefully they just keep that in mind, that although we played it so well, if we don't take our chances, like several other chances we had during the game, that we can get 3 points taken away from us. So just keep that in mind before you guys start thinking the Dynamo are going to win the Supporters' Shield.
Yeah, just keep it. Yeah, you just check your expectations accordingly. Obviously, like we're both super mega ultra Dynamo fans for life, forever, and yeah, like we obviously have to face reality when it comes to how the team has been for like the past few years, and yeah, like as long as we keep our expectations very low, like there's no way for us to be extremely disappointed with the results, and we just have to wait for the team to develop into an actual contender to start thinking about Supporters' Shield, obviously.
Okay, no, you should calm down. We're not doing that.
Right. If we win the Supporters' Shield in the next 5 years, I'm making a diesel tattoo like somewhere on my body for sure.
If we win the Supporters' Shield this year. If
okay.
we were to win it, and that's how crazy I think this is. If we won the Supporters' Shield this year, I will get a Fox tattoo.
Nice.
That's how little faith I have in that prediction. I wouldn't say MLS Cup because anyone can win MLS Cup if they make it to playoffs. So I'm not making that bet. But no way we win Supporters' Shield and take that to the bank.
Yeah, hopefully the players are listening to this episode and and this is inspiration for them to win Supporter Shield, and that would be amazing, honestly.
Please.
Like I would do the same too if they win it this year, but yeah, it's.
I don't think my girlfriend would like that too
I'm
much.
gonna. Yeah, let's stop talking about the Supporter Shield because we're gonna jinx it. And another thing I wanted to talk about from this game is that I like how Derrick Jones came in like to close the game out. I feel like he's literally a tower, and like that's one of the things that I noticed about him. Like he just moves like a couple meters, and he's just like halfway through the field, and I feel like that's a good way to ice the game that Dynamo should apply for other games, really.
Yeah, and honestly, our midfield was super underrated. Honestly, going into this game, after the FC Dallas game, it seemed like our midfield was absolutely taken over by them in that preseason game where we lost 3-0.
Yeah.
And props to Vera, Corona, and Memo this game because they were immense. Honestly, Vera was underrated man of the match for me. He was everywhere on the pitch,
Yeah.
putting out fires. And even though it was really a 4-3-3 in actuality with Boniek in the back, I did see a couple times when Boniek would get out of position and Vera came in right next to Parker. So, I mean, we all know Matias is kind of the underrated man of the season for the Dynamo all the time. But I think this past game really even showed that even more. So, before we move on to covering the Dash and the games coming up next week, I just wanted to point out that the players that didn't dress this week so we had the injuries, Junkwa, concussion. We had Bartlow, also concussion. We have Minor, possibly COVID, possibly some other illness. Those were the injuries, correct, that we know of?
Yeah, Fuenmayor got upgraded, so yeah, those are the only 3 injuries as of right now.
But then we had Lemoyne not dress, which is not that weird. He probably just didn't make the 18. We had Danny Rios and Juan Castilla. Not weird. They're not really in the first team picture yet. And then we had Jose Bizama not dress. Well, we have not heard anything about this whole preseason. I don't know if you guys have. We had Ian Hoffman on the bench, probably as the backup right back, which this could also maybe explain the reason why Tab didn't want to play Zarek Valentin at center back, who has had previous center back experience with Portland. Maybe it's because Bizama's been injured this whole preseason. Honestly, I thought this was going to be his season to break out and possibly beat Zarek for the right back role, because I do have faith in him since he has had constant injuries the whole time he's been here. But man, it's really depressing if this isn't going to be another season of that. I don't see him making it one other year with the Dynamo if he can't get on the field consistently.
Yeah, and yeah, if I recall correctly, I think he's seen like a few minutes in the preseason, or maybe like the scrimmages following the first scrimmage, like like depending on like the game during the preseason, like they will organize a scrimmage after a scrimmage. So yeah, like a post scrimmage, and yeah, like I think he played a few minutes, Pisama, but other than that, we haven't heard much really. Like going back to the way the Dynamo have covered the preseason, which was pretty tough for us to like get a handle on.
Yeah, for sure. So let's hope we hear some news on Bizama soon, whether he's injured or whether he's just out of the squad as well. Because if that's the case, I mean, for those that don't know, Bizama's contract was supposed to, I believe, end at the end of 2020, and he received a 1-year extension, if I'm correct, to stay at the Dynamo. And if he's out of the team for footballing reasons, then maybe the best course of action would be to seek a trade when that intra-league window opens up again, if it isn't already open. But maybe that's one to keep an eye on for the coming months.
For sure. And yeah, with the game under wraps, checked out and everything, it was a fun result. We're gonna go ahead and move to the Dash game, which happened right after the Dynamo game, and I would say like it was the polar opposite from the Dynamo game because like not much happened. The Rain like looked like they were like the dominant team like overall up until like the second half, where the Dash were able to get a hold of the game. But other than that, there wasn't like much interesting action going on. It was like it felt pretty boring, but at the same time, it was mostly just like defensive performances from both teams, especially the Dash, since they got their second clean sheet in a row, and it was mostly just for in part of their improving defense going into this year. Like obviously, like one of the highlights of the backline being Oyster and Oyster and Naughton. They've like been the core of Houston's defense, like going back to last year, the championship, um, for the Challenge Cup, and overall, like I just wanted to highlight basically how they've been improving defensively overall. Since there's not much to talk about this game other than other than them being defensively better than past times.
I mean, that's a huge thing to point out because I mean, what do they say? Defense wins championships.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's not possible right now. As you guys still know, 6 international players still were out for the Dynamo for the Dash. I mean, coming back from international duty, I assume from a mandatory quarantine. So still missing Rachel Daly, Nichelle Prince, and that whole crew. Cheeky little goal from Nichelle Prince over the international break. By the way, on England. If you guys saw that Canada-England game where she slide tackled the England goalie to get a goal. But, yeah, I mean, definitely that's a huge positive to take in. But as you guys maybe have heard, the Dash now do not control their own destiny kind of going into the Challenge Cup the last 2 games because they did tie the Red Stars the first game 0-0. Now they tied OL Reign 0-0. So now they have Kansas City coming up and then Portland Thorns, who are currently in first. So, I mean, even if the Dash win their next 2 games, that could very well, maybe put them into the Challenge Cup final. But we don't control our own destiny now, which, I mean, came from James Clarkson's mouth himself. He's not too happy about that. Obviously, who will be? But that's kind of what's got me a little bit upset about the international break, and that's what really happens. Like Andres was telling me, in NWSL more than any other league because the national team takes up so much part of the year, and they're going to lose so many of them again for the Olympics. So it kind of is a bit depressing, I guess. That it almost seems like the Challenge Cup is already lost for us.
Yeah, like we've been expecting this year to be like this. We're gonna miss a ton of our key starters, and we're just gonna severely affect our results in the season. Yeah, like obviously if Daly was in the game, at least like the result would have been different. I can guarantee it for sure. But obviously it's not going to be the case for a good chunk of the season, like with the Olympics coming in and all the international breaks too. And yeah, like I still think the Dash are still figuring out how to win games without their starters. Obviously they're getting there with a pretty improved defense, but obviously without an offense, you cannot win games. And they, in this case, heading into the last 2 games of the Challenge Cup, they will have to win the next 2 games and hope that Portland loses their upcoming game. And since a result against Kansas City and NWSL with their upcoming game and beating Portland would have them up from first place, which is what's now required to get to the championship game. So there's no knockout stage for like the best 2 teams or anything like that. So basically, the NWSL right now is split into the Eastern and the Western Division, the Dash being in the Western Division. And the only way to qualify to the championship game is to finish first place in the standings of either East or Western Division. And the Dash are currently second place with only 2 points, which came out of the 2 draws against the Red Stars and the Reign. And so it's not a pretty good position right now. So as of right now, they can only hope to not only win their next 2 games, but to also hope that Portland doesn't get the result they want over the next couple of games or so, especially the first one. And
I mean, Portland plays the OL Reign next, I think. So that should be a really good match with the internationals coming back as well. I don't know if Portland plays them next or in their last game. But it should be pretty interesting there. And then the Dash, I mean, having our six starters coming back, that'll be huge. I fully expect 6 points from the next 2 games. Knock on wood, But pretty interesting stat from the first game against the Red Stars. The Dash had 0 shots on target. And I guess a small improvement this week
Yeah.
was that they had 3 shots on target, albeit none of them really troubled the keeper at all. And honestly, I guess the most dangerous chance created was probably Katie Stengel in the first half, just bulldozing through everybody
Oh yeah.
on the old rain, and she had a pretty good angle. I guess obviously if she would have just put it a little bit lower on the ground, but unfortunately it went straight to the keeper. But I guess kind of more so looking to the future, not as much to analyze from this past 0-0 tie, but really hope the Dash are looking to getting some reinforcements that won't be gone on national duty so much, because I mean we still have Riva Sali, Shea Groom, Veronica Latsko, everybody, all these people in attack, Katie Stengel, but it seems like it's almost not enough without a full-on out-and-out striker that can really carry us with some goals when we need it.
Oh yeah, and we just have to wait and see what happens with the starters that we're missing during the international break. They should be good to go for the next game on Monday, since it's already been long enough for the quarantine period. But it's still going to depend on if they're fit, whether they should be able to, or if they're injuries. Hopefully not.
Mm.
But yeah, like obviously the reinforcements will be huge for the Dash to get better results in the next 2 games. But we just have to wait and see what develops over the course of Monday against Kansas City and NWSL.
Yeah, for sure, man. We'll hope we get those last 6 points, because that's all we can bank on for the rest of the season, really.
Yeah, and yeah, with those games covered out now, we're now gonna go ahead and preview their upcoming games. The Dynamo are playing the Timbers on the road at Providence Park. Turf, not good for the Dynamo, at least historically. Yeah.
Never a good game for the Dynamo.
Yeah. Turf,
unless you're Mauro Manotas in the playoffs, baby.
Yeah, and conveniently enough, Manotas left last year, like last off season. So yeah, we got that going for us, I guess.
I mean, let's look at it this way. If you guys don't know, Portland Timbers are currently in the CONCACAF Champions League. They moved on to the next rounds, which I believe is the quarterfinals, and they are facing the ever loved or hated Club America from Mexico in the quarterfinals. So we play Portland on Saturday in Portland, and then Portland will host Club America that coming Wednesday. So I don't think they'll bench everybody to get prepared for that huge game, but I think it's safe to assume that they're going to be a lot more cautious. So that's really something that Dynamo need to take to our advantage, especially with Tab's high press system. We'll see how that works on the road, because obviously it's not hard to play the same way when you're away from home, but it's an interesting proposition. Hopefully Lord Valeri is on the bench. I know Sebastian Blanco's still injured. Jeremy Bobasy's injured. I think their striker Nias Goda. Obviously we know Portland's really dangerous, even without all those guys out. But it's at least looking a little brighter. I think we can have some hope on that side.
Yeah, they did lose their first game of the season on the road against Vancouver, so there's still a chance that they might not sit all of their most important players. But going back to what you mentioned, that they're playing at Club America on CCL, they may have to rest their most important players, obviously, because of their the MLS's historically bad record against Liga MX teams in CCL. They're gonna need all the firepower they got to beat them, especially on the road. Whenever, because going to Mexico is not easy, and
not at all.
They're gonna need all the help they need, and like the Timbers, assuming that they are gonna have a good chunk of their good players fielded against the Dynamo. Offensively, they're pretty good. They can always take advantage of the fact that the Dynamo are pretty bad on the road, and just go with a pretty interesting roster that just breaks down the Houston's press, which I feel like they can be. It can be pretty damaging for the Dynamo going into Portland, and we just have to wait and see. Since the watching the replay against the last game against the Whitecaps, I felt like they can fix some other issues but we just have to wait and see what happens, like with how the Dynamo handle the press and how they organize offensively, and like they did against San Jose.
Yeah, I mean, I think Portland's a much more dangerous side than that San Jose squad that we faced in terms of if we have Boniek at the back again. Felipe Mora, who's Portland's striker right now, a Chilean striker formerly at Pumas from Mexico, he's a lot more of a dangerous striker to handle. And no offense to Kate Cowell, who is, I mean, only 17, so not as much experience. Definitely will probably terrorize Boniek and Tim Parker a little bit more if that's the pairing that ends up going on the pitch. And then they have Yimi Chara, Diego Chara's brother. They both the winger, and then they have Diego Valeri. I currently don't know who's playing on their left wing. Who's their other winger right now?
So from the last one, Asprilla, yeah,
the famous Dairon Asprilla. That's the playoff legend.
Yeah, and Chara, like there's a meme about the Timbers that if Chara doesn't play, they're guaranteed to lose. So we'll see if they sit him down or not. It might be our indicator if we actually win Portland, which seems impossible based on our track record on the road. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, if let's see, let's say Portland benches some guys to prepare for the upcoming Club America game. I think you have to assume maybe Diego Valeri doesn't play, right? Because if that happens, who replaces him? They have Paredes, who used to play for Club America, on the bench. They have Loria, Zambrano. I don't know. I feel like there's not really an out-and-out replacement for Valeri, so that could really come to the Dynamo's to their advantage.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. Portland doesn't. At least I'm personally not too up to date with Portland's depth, which, I mean, I don't think there's any offense to be taken there because I don't know if too many people know the Dynamo's depth either. You know, the legendary Ariel Lassiter, for example. But
absolutely,
there's definitely an opportunity to be made there, and I think Tab and his team is definitely going to recognize that. We know Urruti used to play at Portland, so I mean, the dude's practically played at half of MLS at this point, so I don't know if there's really much of a chip on his shoulder coming back to his former team where he won MLS Cup.
Yeah, but, at least he's used to turf, so we got that going for us.
Honestly, bro, I think that's like one of the biggest things. Portland's stadium, I don't know if their field is any narrower, but the field feels narrower, and then the turf, it's probably going to be raining because it's Portland.
Yeah.
It's going to be a crazy Saturday night. I know. I'm gonna be ready for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, and yeah, so we got that game going next Saturday, or this upcoming Saturday, and next Monday we'll be at the Dash on the road against Kansas City and NWSL. They used to be the Utah Royals. If you're not aware about Kansas City and NWSL, they're named Kansas City and NWSL mainly because they have to rebrand still. Their move from Utah was kind of like last minute, so they just have to like stick to that name until they get rebranded soon. And the Royals, or at least now the Kansas City and NWSL, they're an interesting team. The last result was a 2-1 loss against Portland on the road, Portland Thorns that is, and
pretty impressive against Portland on the road, I'd have to say.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Like the Thorns are one of the best teams in the league, and they didn't manage to break down a Kansas City and NWSL that easily. And obviously heading into this game, going back to what we said about the internationals being missing, it's gonna be up to that, and also how they handle another road result. Obviously, they're gonna have to get the win for this one. If not, the Challenge Cup run is gonna be pretty much over, unless Portland, whatever happens to their game happens, and we just have to wait and see if either James Clarkson makes a few moves up top, like adds other pieces to the attacking roles coming into this one, and yeah, like hopefully we get some many attacking pieces from the national break back, but we just have to wait and see.
I mean, yeah, hopefully we're getting Sophie Schmidt back, Nichelle Prince, Christy Mewis. Who else are we missing? Rachel Daly, Jane Campbell.
Yeah, obviously Daly
Chappie, right?
coming back. Yeah, obviously Daly coming back will be huge, but at least having either Prince or Mewis back will be awesome for us. But yeah, we hopefully they can help out the Dash if they can complete quarantine or if they're fit to play soon. And yeah, there's not much of an assessment we can do. We can just hope for the best going for them, really. And yeah, like it's just gonna be that situation when the Dash had to like, step up, have to figure out how to play already without their most important players, and obviously there's gonna be like a really hard season for them without their starters. But at the same time, they will have to get used to it since nobody can stop the inevitable international break, especially since like the Dash are so good. They have starters missing for that reason.
So yeah, pretty much just thoughts and prayers for the Dash. Thoughts and prayers from the Foxtrot podcast, you know.
Yeah, like I still think James Carson can figure everything out. Obviously, he's at a disadvantage that his players get missing for like 2 weeks, even 3 weeks now with the quarantines and stuff. But I still have faith on him really, so he can pull this off.
Yeah, but honestly, that's pretty much it from covering both of the teams' past week and coming matches that are coming up. The only other last comment, you know, from the San Jose Dynamo game that I wanted to bring up was, you know, obviously we I don't know if it came as a surprise for anybody, but it seems like Rudy really fits into this system, and you know we might see him be one of our main goal scorers this year. But if Rudy's hurt or needs a rest, is Ramirez really the guy that you see coming in to produce those goals in this lineup, or do you see us signing another striker this summer? A DP? Probably not a DP, but I don't know. I was listening to the Extra Time podcast from MLS, and they were talking about Christian Ramirez being one of the players that they could see being shipped out mid-season to a team that really needs a proven goal scorer, because we know Ramirez can score goals, but he's not really getting that time anymore in the Dynamo system. I don't know if he lost Tab's trust, or I think it's more of a he doesn't fit in the system thing, but what do you think?
Pretty much that. Obviously, like Christian hasn't been seeing much time other than that being subbed in for like the last few minutes of the game, like we've seen against San Jose, and really, like it's gonna. I think there's a good opportunity that he gets traded like somewhere pretty soon. Like if the Dynamo were to like bring in another striker, other than that, like if they're not thinking about like getting another striker, then I can see it like Tab giving him another shot if Rudy something happens to him, like job reform or injury. Hopefully not, but
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
because other than Ramirez, the only cover we really have is Lassiter, who's not an out-and-out striker, and Bahamic, who we don't really know if he's an out-and-out striker either. So it's a wait-and-see opportunity there, just something for you. Just a little tidbit for you guys to keep thinking about for the future. But that's pretty much it for the episode from me and Andres. Andres, anything else you wanted to cover?
Not really. Yeah, I just wanted to say, obviously, thank you guys so much for the support you have given us over the past 2 episodes, now 3. Yeah, Tony and I are pretty excited to keep producing these episodes now that the season is in full swing with both the Dynamo and Dash playing, and yeah, like we just hope you guys keep tuning in. Subscribe to all the podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube, all of them. Like really, like just you guys listening to us means a lot, or just subscribing really, or interacting with us in any way, shape, or form. Like it means a lot, and really we just hope that this valuable content that we bring to you guys is awesome, and yeah, we just me and Tony, we just like love doing this really, and we're just gonna get the groove going for the entire season. So yeah,
we're not professionals by any means, you know.
Oh, we're not.
We're just 2 guys.
Not yet.
You know.
Like if we get sponsors, then we we're professionals, so we just have to wait and see on that. Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, I won't hold my breath there, but
Yeah.
Thanks you guys for listening, and what do you say? Keep it foxy.
No, stay noodle.
Stay noodle and keep it foxy.
Exactly.
Peace.